Hello everybody, my name is Evan and welcome back to the Big Brand's COVID-19 series. Today we will explore more into the effects of SARS-CoV-2 on the human body. Let's first begin by looking at the respiratory system. The respiratory system can be defined as one of the 11 organ systems containing the airways, blood vessels, and most importantly, the lungs. The respiratory system works closely together with the cardiovascular system to allow for the oxygenation of blood, allowing for the cells in your body to continue creating cellular energy and living. So there are four main steps when it comes to respiration. The first is that oxygen, otherwise known as O2, is taken in by the body either through the nasal cavity or via the mouth. The oxygen then travels down your body, past your larynx, down your trachea, and into one of your two lungs. The larynx is a hollow muscular organ in your throat that allows for air to pass through the use of the epiglottis, a muscle that blocks the esophagus during respiration. Additionally, the larynx is the location where the vocal cords are held in your neck. The trachea is a large muscular tube structurally reinforced by rings of cartilage that extends from the larynx to its connection to the bronchi. At the bronchi, the oxygen splits into one of the two lungs into the thoracic cavity, also known as the chest. The oxygen then travels to the alveoli, where they are used to oxygenate blood held in the capillaries, or the connections between arteries and veins. At the same time, carbon dioxide, also known as CO2, is taken out of the bloodstream and exhaled through the mouth as a waste product. The oxygenated blood then travels back to the heart and is sent throughout the body to be used by the body cells. In the picture to the left, you can see the structure of the pulmonary system, being the larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and alveoli. In the diagram to the right, here I've traced a visual representation of the path that oxygen travels through the respiratory system and ends in either one of the two lungs, here and here. Next, let's get into the symptoms that COVID-19 can cause in the body. Here you can see a chart of the mild, severe, and critical symptoms, along with symptoms that are seen in patients with acute respiratory distress syndrome. Some of the most common mild symptoms include fever, chills, loss of smell, loss of taste, and coughing up phlegm. For severe symptoms, tightness of the chest and shortness of the breath could arise, and for critical symptoms, the patient could go into septic shock and die. COVID-19 could also cause acute respiratory distress syndrome, which could cause major damage to the alveoli, often resulting in death. Please be aware that these symptoms are not here to scare you in any way, but instead to help you become aware of the possible symptoms that could arise from COVID-19 and how to better protect yourselves. Now, of course, these are not the only symptoms that could arise in infected individuals, however, these are the most common. The percentages after each type of symptom are the percentages of people who presented with that category of symptoms from a case study conducted by the World Health Organization in relation with the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The link to this paper will be shown later in this video. Now let's transition into talking about how SARS-CoV-2 attacks the airways. First, SARS-CoV-2 enters the airways either through the mouth or nasal passage, as we talked about previously. In the previous video, we talked about S proteins and their function in helping the virus bind to receptors located on the cell membrane. The specific receptors that SARS-CoV-2 binds to are angiotensin converting enzyme 2 or ACE2 receptors. After finding and binding to one of these receptors, the virus enters into the cytoplasm of the cell and begins to replicate, essentially turning the host into a factory for producing more SARS-CoV-2. Finally, when enough SARS-CoV-2 has been produced, all of the viruses burst out of the host, releasing more viruses into the body and allowing for more replication, causing the disease known as COVID-19. Here in this electron microscope image, you can see SARS-CoV-2, pictured as blue spheres, being released from dying kidney cells, showing how it is not only the respiratory system that is affected by this virus. For more research on this topic, you can use this link and read the Joint World Health Organization and Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, published in February of 2020. Furthermore, if you have any questions, please look towards the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website for guidance. Finally, on behalf of everybody at Big Brainers, we would like to express our utmost gratitude for all of the healthcare workers who have placed their lives on the line for their jobs. Thank you for all that you do in keeping us safe and healthy during these trying times.